responsibility. You are responsible. I like what that slide said at the bottom of it. No single drop of water thinks it's responsible for the flood. But all of them together create a flood, right? We are responsible. Responsibility is the ability to respond to life. It's one of the greatest gifts that God has given any of us. God created you and me and made us in different ways. But we're all human beings, right? Any non-human beings in the room today? Do we have any aliens here today? You just feel like one, huh? Okay. One of the things that makes you a human is the ability God has given you to choose your response to life. Everybody has that same ability. We can call it different things. We can call it free will, free choice. But He's given all of us the responsibility to choose how we will respond to life. We can respond in a lot of different ways. We can respond to stress. We can respond to problems and crises and opportunities and relationships in many different ways. But it's our choice. Understand that. It's our choice. Nobody can make you do anything or be anything. It is your choice as to how you respond. It's very obvious. And if you're in the Sunday school class, if not, I invite you to come and start being there the next few weeks. We're working on this idea of use ourselves. Not my fault. Am I right? Don't you see that happening anyhow in our culture, in our society? We live in a blaming and accusing and excusing society where nobody wants to own up to anything. What causes that? What happened in this society right here? What happened in our society that's causing that to go so out of control? Now, there are three beliefs that are very common today, three beliefs that are the opposite of personal responsibility. Let's look almost every day. Finally, they fired him. He sues his employer. His defense was he suffers from chronic lateness syndrome. He won the case. He won the case. And Chip's lot. He was caught. The car was recovered. You owe me everything. You owe me a free college education. It doesn't matter if I paid my student loans off. I got $100,000, so you owe me, and they're going to pay for it, or so they're trying. It doesn't make sense. Pretty soon I heard anybody who has a credit card debt, they're going to pay it off. They want to do that. If you have debt of any kind, they want to pay it off. And you don't even have to go to work. You can just stay home. It's gaining acceptance and esteem all the time. The entitlement mentality. I'm not responsible for anything. It's not my fault. You owe me everything. Now, in Ephesians chapter, 3 reasons. Number 1, because God is watching your life. That's really that sounds kind of milquetoasty, like not a real significant point. But if we really become convinced of that, and there's other ways we could call that, or other things we could deem that as we have a healthy fear of God. We reverence God. We're willing to put God in His rightful place in our life. We know God knows everything that goes on in our life. Nothing misses His sight. Hebrews 4, nothing in all the world can be hidden from God. Everything is open before Him, and to Him we must explain the way we have lived. Back in the 1960s, when some of you were teenagers, that was the hippie time. Some of you were hip. Were any of you hippies? Danny was a hippie? And they used to have all this stuff, they had beautiful psychedelic posters. And one of the posters read like this. I saw a picture of it. I was not put on this planet to live up to your expectations, and you were not put on this planet to live up to my expectations. So, let me do my thing and you do your thing, and if perchance we happen to meet, that's groovy. Groovy. I think we got to bring that back, that term, groovy. That's groovy. Those are groovy shoes you got on, Joe. The choices you make influence your friends. They influence the people in your neighborhood. They influence the people in your house. They influence your church. If I were to ask you, and it's really a nice day out there, if I were to ask you, let's go to Caesar Creek this afternoon on a destination, let's go to Caesar's Creek this afternoon. And we're all going to go out on a rowboat. I got a big rowboat. It'll hold 8 people. Each of us gets 1.5 feet of space to sit. We're going to divide it up that way. Okay? You game? Want to go? Just say you will. Okay. 20 minutes out into the lake, here we all sit. Kids can say, I can do this. It won't hurt my parents. Employees can say, I can do this. It's a big company. It won't hurt anything. You're wrong. You're wrong. Right? Affected. And then there's a third one. Third reason why we should live responsibly, and it's because God rewards it. God says, well, first of all, Deuteronomy, you will experience all of God's blessings if you obey the Lord. That's pretty clear. How many of you want to live strictly on the... Huh? Well, your life, if you will just trust me. Trust me with your life. Trust me with your time. Trust me with your treasure. Trust me with your talents. Trust me with everything you have and everything you are and everything you ever hope to be. One of the ways God rewards us when we are responsible is He gives us greater responsibility. Anytime you want to talk about responsibility, there's a certain book you have to go to in the Bible. The book of Proverbs. Read through the book once a month. Proverbs. What is it in the Old or the New Testament? Okay. How many chapters? Okay, good. I want to challenge you to something today. And this is not a challenge just for a period of time. I'm going to challenge you to something for the rest of your life. You'll do it or you won't. One chapter. You're being responsible. I'm being responsible if we're not trying to save some money. The average Japanese citizen, it said, saves 25% of their income. The average European, 14 to 15% of their income. The average American saves less than 5%. Why? Because, could it be because we have bought into this instant gratification idea that has permeated our society? I've got to have it, and I've got to have it now, right? Buy now, pay later. Live for today. Enjoy it all to now, or enjoy it all now. Don't worry about tomorrow. And as the result, the average, right? He says, when people hurt you, what does he say? Turn the other cheek, but there's more than that. Do good to them. Oh, don't let this world convince you that bust them in the chops is the way to go. Don't do that. That's not biblical. That's not truth. That's human philosophy and carnal error. Look at what the scripture says. A fool expresses all of his emotions, but a wise person controls them. Matthew 12:36. People will be responsible for every careless word they say. God is judging the responsibility of my mouth. I'm responsible by guarding my mind.